Antoine Turner has overcome many obstacles on his journey home. It's been a quest for stability for a young man whose life has seen very little of it. As the college football season begins, Boise State University here has provided a home for Antoine, both on the field and in the most literal sense.
Home has been the streets of New Orleans. Home has been park benches in La Palmer Park. Home has been my girlfriend's car. Home is basically wherever I can lay my head. I'm not supposed to be here right now. I lost my mother to cancer when I was 4. My grandmother and my grandfather kind of took me in. Then it was hurricane season.
Katrina's killer storm surge tormented residents for hours.
It felt like it washed everything away. I had one picture of my mother that I used to keep under my pillow every night, and the hurricane took that. So I have no picture of her at all. Growing up in the neighborhood, there's either two ways to go. It's either sports or the streets. I started playing football after Katrina. I went on a computer. I kid you not, I put junior college in. And the first college that popped up was Fullerton. I said, oh, okay. I was like, man, it's California. Michael Jackson went to California. I'm gonna go to California too, make it big.
When big 250-pound defensive linemen call you, you definitely want them part of your team. But California community colleges, there's no scholarship. It's all financial aid based. So basically the kids have to come out here and they fill out their financial aid and they have to try to make it on their own.
I had to pay a deposit, I had to pay the month's rent and food and all that. Back home, it was a struggle for them to get money to me, and it wasn't their fault. You know, they didn't have money like that. It got to a point where I couldn't pay rent anymore, and I went homeless for about a year, sleeping on park benches, being lonely.
He's a very humble person. He wasn't going to come tell his coaches he was homeless or sleeping in the park. It wasn't anything like that. He wanted to share to us. Things weren't clicking. He was losing weight. He didn't look good.
I went from 290 to 220. I would go to practice, just dying out there, dehydrated, tired, hungry. But I walk all the way back to the park, and sometimes I don't eat that night. I'll just go to sleep.
At first I didn't know it was that bad, but then he told me he was actually like at a park, and I just started crying. I was like, are you serious? Why didn't you tell me?
She knew I was so prideful that I didn't want to ask for help, so she asked her uncle to help me.
I took him in. My sister had him for a while. My brother Nate took him in for a while. You can't expect a person to be stable without having stability, so I tried to give him that.
Within a month, 2 months, I went from 220 to 240. And this got way bigger, man. It was crazy. Everything was going well, but due to Section 8 regulations, I had to leave.
The government has, certain regulations. My manager found out that he was living here. I said either he has to go or you all have to go. I think having to put him out was one of the hardest things I ever had to do.
My girlfriend was like, you're not about to go back to this park bench thing no more. We're gonna sleep in this car.
Had a connection with some folks there in California, and finally got to talk to Antoine. Well, here was a guy that was kind of making his way, who was a good football player. We got to know him better and thought, you know what, this is a great fit for us, what we're looking for from a person standpoint, and we know he can play the game.
Antoine Turner put pen to paper on a national letter of intent.
KTVB did a story about my life, and it kind of just blew up overnight.
When people volunteered to help, it scared me a little bit, to be honest, because, as of that time, that's a violation. And our compliance department had sent out a request to be able to help Antoine. I think what surprised us and pleased us is how the NCAA responded. Kind of took the human factor and added it back into the decision making from the NCAA in this particular case.
When I first moved into my dorm room at Boise, the first time like in my life, like a bed that was mine, and I knew it was gonna consistently be mine. My journey, it showed me what I was made of. I used to think I was strong. I didn't know what strength was.